This is South Africa, a country where 55% of the population is living in poverty. Not so long ago, I was counted as one of the people living in poverty in my home country of South Africa. I consider myself to be one of the lucky few people to have broken free of the self-enforcing cycle of poverty. With this first-hand experience, in this video, I will share with you just how I managed to escape from poverty. But first, I must acknowledge that there were factors out of my control that made my journey out of poverty easier in some respects and much harder in other respects. I will not be focusing on these factors in this video. I want to focus on factors that I have control over. These are things that you can do something about if you want to gain financial freedom. In this previous video, I shared how my family and I ended up in poverty and why it's so hard to escape from poverty. I've also placed the link to that video in the description below so that if you missed it, you can watch it once you're done watching this video. Now let's get into it. How did I manage to break free from the cycle of poverty? I learned from the life experience of others. Learning from the life experiences of others includes learning from their successes and their mistakes. Mistakes are the best teachers because they give you a strong memory and a reason why never to do that thing again. And the thing is, we all make mistakes, but that doesn't mean that we should all make the same mistakes. I've seen this particular mistake being made by tons of people throughout my life so far. As soon as a person starts making some income, they decide to buy an expensive luxury car. Instead of focusing on paying off their debt so that they can work their way out of poverty, or if they don't have debt, keeping it that way so that they can focus on building their wealth. Most people think, I will buy myself that super fast, expensive car because I work hard and I deserve it. In fact, in South Africa, these cars have a nickname. They are called Verpa, named after the sound that the car makes as it's speeding away. This choice is made while the person does not realize that they'll be making huge monthly payments, they will have unexpected maintenance costs, and they will be constantly dealing with the depreciating value of the car, which now means that they have to work tons of hours just to keep their head above the water. Comment down below if you have learned anything from the life experiences of others, especially if you've learned from their mistakes. This will certainly help the rest of our community to not fall into the same financial traps or make the same mistakes. I made sure to finish the highest form of education that was available to me. When you are poor, the most straightforward path out of poverty is to start working. And not only to start working at any job, but to find a job with the potential to pay you a high income. Dropping out of school or having limited access to education limits your ability to acquire the skills and the knowledge that is required in order to work a high-paying job. So people get stuck working low-paying jobs or low-skilled jobs. So being an impoverished 16-year-old, I looked at all the options that were before me. And the most straightforward path out of poverty was for me to one day secure myself a job with the potential to pay me a high income. My mom took me to the best schools that she could afford. But I knew that if I wanted to go to university, the university fees would drown her in debt and lead her further into poverty. So I took control of what I could. I applied for a university scholarship, I got accepted, and that's how I ended up getting a university education. Without that scholarship, I would have never become an accountant and would have never gotten the opportunity to audit some of the world's Fortune 500 companies, and I would certainly still be living in South Africa, where over 31 million of the population is currently living in poverty. If you find any of the information that I share in this video to be helpful, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. This will help my channel to reach more people and be helpful to somebody out there who needs this information. I constantly self-reflect and change my own behavior. Getting out of the hood was easier than getting the hood out of me. That's because there are default behaviors that I learned when I was growing up. And some of those behaviors I still struggle with today. So I have taken conscious steps to change those behaviors over time. An example of a conscious step that I took was choosing not to open up a line of credit at a clothing store in order to buy clothes. I also chose not to buy any clothes using any form of debt. Yet when I was growing up, having a clothing store credit was quite a normal way of making sure that your family is well clothed. This type of debt can easily balloon into unimaginable amounts, and that's because the debt increases each season with the latest fashion. And this will cripple your ability to break free from poverty and your ability to start growing your wealth. If you have debt and are struggling to achieve financial freedom, watch this video where I share with you actionable steps that you can take in order to break free from debt and start growing your wealth. I've placed the link to that video in the description below to make it easy for you to find after watching this video. I consciously chose the people that I surround myself with. In life, we cannot choose the families that we are born into, but we can certainly choose our friends and the people that we surround ourselves with. Exercising this choice, I surrounded myself with people that I considered to be good role models, people that I could learn a lot from, and have friendships built on adding value to each other's lives. The company that you keep determines where you end up. In 5 years' time, who you are will be greatly determined by the company that you keep. You talk like them, you read the same books that they read or not read anything at all, and most importantly, you do things that they do. Back then, I would have never guessed how word of mouth and the influence of those around me would impact my journey out of poverty. But today, I'm very happy that I consciously chose the people that I surround myself with, receiving and accepting the help of others. From all that I have mentioned so far, one thing is for sure. I would have never made it out of poverty without the help of countless others who touched my life throughout the years. I'm still in contact with some of those people, and others are a memory that I hold dear because of the impact that they had in my life. I've met people who struggle accepting the help of others. Let this not be you at any point in your life, no matter how successful you become. Because the most successful people in the world stand on the shoulders of others, and you can learn to do the same. Looking back at my life and hearing about my journey out of poverty, you might think that my dimly lit path out of poverty was always clear, easy, and straightforward. But actually, it was quite the contrary. Once I understood how to break free from poverty, I knew that my journey to wealth would not be an overnight success. This made me want to understand what truly separates the rich from the poor. If you are wondering the same, watch this video next in order to find out. I have placed the link to this video in the description below to make it easier for you to find. I'll see you on the next one.